Welcome guys, my name's Steve Beckles-Ebusua. I'm here today just to talk a little bit about being a speaker. I've been a speaker for a number of years, speaking in schools, colleges and universities. One of the things I realise about being a speaker is being aware of what you're actually trying to say. Now, I always say one of the first words to bear in mind is knowledge. When you've got knowledge, you've got an understanding of what you're actually saying. I don't know if that makes sense, but think very carefully about speaking. You must have material in order for someone listening to you to go away and think, you know what an amazing thing. I had no idea about that. So knowledge is really important. I'm always reading, from guys Larry Wignett, Shut Up and Do, to people like Napoleon Hill, and loads of books that made me think about what knowledge is all about. Knowledge isn't power. It's application of knowledge. So guys, what I want you to do whenever you're going to be speaking is read up on your topic. Really understand your topic, because you will be asked questions on it. Bear it in mind. Second point, which I think is really important, is listening. I always say to people, and young people in particular, is to listen aggressively. What do I mean by that? Let me explain. Speaking aggressively, I think we all know. It's that loud voice, the body language, very aggressive in the way you're speaking. But I'm talking about listening. Listen to every point that's being made. Because what will happen invariably when you're speaking, someone in the audience might ask a question. And sometimes they might ask a question when you haven't asked for a question to be asked. So think very carefully and be ready. So if you do have someone that has asked you a question, don't automatically get on the defensive. Listen to what they say. Because when you listen to what they say, your delivery then becomes more relevant. So guys, listen, it's very important. Third point is humour. As a speaker, I always believe it's important to try to make the audience laugh. Not so much in a comedic sense, but talking about life instances that have happened and just telling it as a story. Because most things that make you angry in real life, when you then tell as a story, it's funny. Now, it's not all about humour, because you can have talks which are quite factual. But what you've got to bear in mind is that there's an audience there that are facing you, listening to you, waiting for what you're going to say. So guys, think about it. Got to give them entertainment. Yeah? Think very carefully. One of the things I always bear in mind as well is to be very humble. I think it's very easy to go around thinking, you know what, I'm a great speaker, or the points I've made are points that you would have no idea with because I've done so much reading and you haven't. But the point is to be humble. What do I mean by that? I mean, if you've made a point, think about very much the way you are and how it happened to you. I think the best form of humour and the best form of being humble is when you bestow any negativity upon yourself. So again, talk about yourself in a maybe in a joking way, a negative way, because that is always going to be safe, isn't it? If you talk about yourself where you've had a problem and you made a mistake and you're made to look stupid, you then become human to the audience. So guys, think about that. It's really important. I think when you have to speak, you have to look at whether you actually want to be there. And what I mean by that is your feel. How do you feel to the audience? And often, I'm sure you've had conversations before when you're talking to people and it is so obvious they're not focused on what you're saying. You have to feel not only how you are, but how the audience are. How do you feel about the topic you're talking about? Because guys, if you remember, passion can't change. Passion is who you are. Another point to bear in mind is what you're actually going to do with the information once you've told them the information. I read somewhere that a great speaker is someone that speaks and leaves a message for them to go and act. Guys, think very carefully about when you do speak, what are you aiming to do? Are you aiming to just get on for half an hour and vanish? Or are you aiming to leave a message? Now, finally, guys, is that message, that action. What will they do after you've finished speaking? I often do this when I speak to people. I often say to them, look, I'm going to be speaking today. What do you want your young people or your audience to feel and do after I've finished? Guys, please try and remember these points, because these points are what make up speaking's all about. Think very carefully about your message, your feel, what you're aiming to do, because ultimately that'll make you a great speaker. Thanks very much.